Isn't it difficult to get the egg back into the female?
Transferring the eggs isn't a problem. We do that all the time with laboratory animals. The really tricky part is the microsurgery. Getting the donor cell into the egg. You're lucky. 1 in 10 survives.
And this can be done with humans?
If the surgical technique were precise enough.
It's monstrous, Doctor.
Why? Wouldn't you want to live in a world full of Mozarts and Picassos? This Mengele was sort of a primitive geneticist in his own way, wasn't he? I understand that he experimented on human beings.
Twins.
Then he was nothing more than a sadist, really.
A sadist with an MD and a PhD?
Well, some people would say that's a perfect definition of a scientist. What exactly do you mean when you say the boys you saw were more than twins?
Not only did they look alike, but they were also very alike in personality.
That is unusual. Studies show that twins who are separated at birth develop totally different personalities.
But these twins, or perhaps I should say triplets, because I believe that my associate saw another, were like the same people, but brought up with different languages.
It's impossible, of course.
Excuse me, Doctor, but what is impossible? What is impossible, Doctor?
Mononuclear reproduction.
Oh, Doctor.
Cloning. What if I were to tell you that I could take a scraping of skin from your finger and create another Ezra Lieberman?
I would tell you not to waste your time or my finger.
Anyway, that is cloning. It was first done with plants. A cutting taken from a plant and transplanted grew to be the exact duplicate of the donor plant. Now we are doing the same thing with laboratory animals.
You mean you can produce an animal from itself?
We take the unfertilized egg of an ovulating female and destroy all of its genes and chromosomes. We then implant the nucleus of the donor cell, which could be taken from a blood sample or even a skin scraping. That cell, with its genetic material intact, eventually becomes an embryo and is born as a living creature.
Without parents?
Well, it has no father because the egg was never fertilized, no mother because its genetic code comes from another being. Can you follow that?
And this creature is an exact duplicate of itself? Oh, Doctor, how can that be?
Come along. Our experiments began with the simplest of animals, shrimps and frogs. Animals in which the female's eggs are fertilized externally. Then we moved on to mammals. We tried several laboratory animals and found the rabbit most convenient. I had to develop instruments which could accomplish the operation, and a whole micro-injection system. I'll show you how it's done. Here we are removing the eggs of a white rabbit from the fallopian tubes. Now, you see the egg under a microscope. I've brought the point of an ordinary sewing needle into view to give an idea of size.
They are that small?
Most mammal eggs are about that size.
Including human eggs?
Yes. The next step is to destroy the egg nucleus with ultraviolet light so that none of its genetic makeup remains. Now you see an egg from a white rabbit ready to be injected with the blood cell from a black rabbit donor. With the injection pipette, one of the blood cells is sucked up and then injected into the egg. After a few hours, the eggs in culture divide and are ready to be put back into the female. There they grow into embryos, which in a month's time, the normal gestation period, they will become baby rabbits. In this instance, a black litter from a white mother and their black color proves that they have been cloned from the blood cell of a black rabbit.
But isn't it difficult to get the egg back into the female?
Transferring the eggs isn't a problem. We do that all the time with laboratory animals. The really tricky part is the microsurgery. Getting the donor cell into the egg. You're lucky 1 in 10 survives.
And this can be done with humans?
If the surgical technique were precise enough.
It's monstrous, doctor.
Why? Wouldn't you want to live in a world full of Mozarts and Picassos? Of course, it's only a dream. Not only would you have to reproduce the genetic code of the donor, but the environmental background as well. Is Mengele trying to reproduce himself?
No. He has brown eyes and he comes from a very wealthy family.
Let's examine the family background of the donor. Father is 65 years old, a civil servant. The mother is 42, you said. She dotes on the child. Boy. The boy is pale, dark hair, blue eyes, spoiled. Right? Now, Mengele would certainly know every social and environmental detail would have to be reproduced. Thus, if the parents were divorced when the boy was 10, this would have to be arranged.
Dr. Büttner, the one who is cloned, the donor, he has to be alive, doesn't he?
Not necessarily. Individual cells taken from a donor can be preserved indefinitely. With a sample of Mozart's blood and a woman, someone with the skill and the equipment could breed a few hundred baby Mozarts. My God, if it's really been done, what I'd give to see one of those boys. Herr Liebermann. Herr Liebermann.
Not Mozart, doctor. Not Picasso. Not a genius who would enrich the world, but a lonely little boy with a domineering father, a customs officer who was 52 when he was born, and an affectionate, doting mother who was 29. The father died at 65 when the boy was nearly 14. Adolf Hitler.
am an old friend of the family. In fact, I am the doctor who delivered you. And I stopped by, having just returned from abroad. And he let me in. And then he pulled out a gun. Fortunately, I was able to overpower him. Now call them off, Bobby. Call them off, please.
Cut!
God, how clever. I said off, and I said away, and I said no gun, no more gun.
And you had the gun.
No, he had...
They're trained to attack anyone carrying a gun.
They were locked up, and
The dogs are never locked up.
Bobby, my dear, dear...
Action! Won't listen to you.
Bobby, that man is your enemy. Do not listen to him. I beg of you.
Call the police.
Yeah.
By all means, do so, Bobby. But first, there are some things about yourself you must know.
What do you mean?
If I prove to you that I know you better than anyone in the world, better even than your own mother, will you listen to me? You are a clever boy, are you not? You do not do well in school. That is because you are too clever, too busy thinking your own thoughts, but you are much smarter than your teachers, huh?
My teachers are nowhere.
You are going to be the world's greatest photographer, are you not? Have you ever felt superior to those around you, like a prince among peasants?
I feel different from everyone sometimes.
You are infinitely different, infinitely superior. You were born of the noblest blood in the world. You have it within you to fulfill ambitions 1,000 times greater than those of which you presently dream. And you shall fulfill them, Bobby. You shall. You are the living duplicate of the greatest man in history. Adolf Hitler.
Oh, man, you're weird.
Bobby, I'm telling you the truth.
Find
You have the strength
your
within you
father.
to command armies,
He
to bend whole
killed
nations to your will,
your
to destroy without mercy
father.
all who oppose you. Bobby, listen to me. It was this vicious Jew, your sworn enemy. He killed your father, and he came here to kill you. Bobby, let me protect you. All your power will burst forth when the time comes, when you grow older, and you see the world engulfed by human garbage. When you feel this urge rising within you to save your own Aryan folk from extinction, then you will rejoice in your heritage and bless me for creating you. Bobby, you must understand your parents are of no importance. They were chosen for you. Now that they have served their purpose, they must disappear from your life. Bobby! Bobby!
You freaked out maniac! Get out of here. Out. I think you'll die if I don't call an ambulance for you. I could just go out right now. My mom won't be home until late. You'll be dead by then. If I call the police, will you tell them what I did? Okay. Shake. Come on, shake. Okay, you got a deal. I'd like an ambulance and a police car to come to the Wheelock residence on Old Buck Road, please. Hey, man, this is an emergency. A heavy-duty emergency.
David! What a surprise.
Which one of the assassins was it, Mr. Lieberman?
I thought you went to a wedding.
No more deception now. No more blind alleys.
What? It was Mengele. He's dead. It's over.
The Doring boy isn't dead yet. Neither is Simon Harrington or Jack Curry or Bobby Wheelock. Took a little time, a little backtracking, a visit to Dr. Bruckner. But now we know everything.
And what are you going to do about it?
Kill the boys. Brilliant man, that Mengele. I suppose he had all 94 of those names and addresses memorized?
Now you are trying to fool me. You have been searching the room?
He must have had a list.
Is it? Now I have.
Give it to me.
Why?
We have the right and we have the duty.
To do what? Kill children?
Give me that list.
You will have to take it from me. And when you do, you can add my name to the list.
I don't mean you any harm.
You don't have to kill me, David. The first of those boys that you touch, I will turn you and your entire organization over to the police. I will do that.
You would protect Hitler.
Will not slaughter the innocent, and neither will you. A fanatic you may be, but a murderer of young children you are not. You know, there is a nurse here, an angel of mercy called Miss Hanneran, who actually gives me cigarettes. You know what she said to me the other day? She said, Mr. Lieberman, if you can escape Wickenburg, and you can escape those bullets, then a few cigarettes will not hurt you. Isn't that a nice thing to say?